In this Easeus review, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the software Easeus. If you have any questions, please be sure to comment them down below, and I'll also be sure to leave a discounted link down there so you can always get your money's worth for Easeus. Easeus is a software that protects your data and records your screen with this limited time product bundle. So this is the software. It's actually a desktop software, so it's actually easy to go ahead and access if you don't actually have any internet connection. Pretty good feature that it is a desktop software. So once you actually go ahead and load up the software from your desktop, you should be greeted with all of this. Now for beginners, it can be a bit overwhelming because there's a lot of areas that you might want to go through, but I'm going to go through each feature, and then throughout the review I'm going to dive deeper into each feature to see what it does. So straight off the bat, we have the Easeus in the top left hand corner, just saying what the software is, and then all the way over here we just have more areas like the notifications and the menu section. You can also minimize it or even exit right there. Pretty much close the software. All the way to the left is where we have the main areas of the software. This is like the discovery, which we are on right now, partition manager, disk clone, disk converter, partition recovery, bootable media, and the toolkit. So this software goes ahead and actually just creates a better way of managing all of your disk software and stuff like that within your computer. It's all the software for that. So stuff for your data. So in this discovery section, there's not too much going on here that actually correlates to the software, so we're not going to go into any of this, but this is just more used tools with this software. So we're going to go straight into the partition manager section, and once we click on that, you should go onto this page. Now you should be greeted with all of your disks. As you see, it says here, my disk. I've got disk 0, disk 1, and disk 2. On the right hand side, you see your drive as well, and you can go ahead and clone it, delete it, change label, change drive letter, surface test, explore, and see the details. So up in the top right hand corner here, you can actually choose to reload it in case you import a new disk. It should take a few seconds to reload, and then to the left of that, you can choose to list them in a different way. So we're going to go ahead and keep it in this list. So right here we have our first disk, which is my first disk, and this is where you go ahead and actually start changing any settings or sorting it out or protecting your data within this software. So say you want to go ahead and actually change something with it, you go ahead and actually right click on the disk. Now what this does is opens up a little section here where you can actually choose to clone it or migrate it to OS, adjust the disk layout if you want to go ahead and do that, delete all if you want to delete all, but I'm not going to do that, wipe the disk, pretty much the same thing, and then you can actually surface test it and see the properties. So we're going to go ahead and surface test it, and once you click that, it takes a few seconds, but it opens up this little page where you can go ahead and surface test your disks. So it shows you the progress, the current sectors, total sectors, the bad sectors, elapsed time, remaining time, and the speed. Now this is good, so you can go ahead and actually see if there's anything wrong with your disks and if there's anything like a virus within your disk, and it pretty much just protects your data. So as you can see, as of now we don't actually have any bad sectors, and hopefully I don't actually have any bad sectors in general. So once you've gone ahead and done all that to see if you actually have anything wrong with your disk, you go ahead and then just come off it, but we're going to go ahead and come off it now so we can go ahead and carry on through the review. So you can do that with all disks like disk 0, 1 and 2. If I just right click it again, same things, and you just surface test it. So you can also see the properties, and you can go ahead and see the properties. So you see the product name, the GPT, physical sector, total size, sector per track, cylinder, and the head. All of this information might be a bit confusing to some people, so you'd want to go ahead and actually research that in your own time and see what everything means within this software. But what it is just again showing the properties of that disk and what it does, how big it is, and stuff like that. So you go ahead and click OK once you're finished reading all of the properties. Next, as you can see, if we're clicking on this one, this is the larger disk version. So you can also see as we hover over the smaller area, you can also go onto this, right click it, or just go onto the right hand side, and you get some more options for the more intricate details. So you can actually go ahead and explore the disk if you want to go ahead and do that, but we're not going to do that because it's got my files on it. But you can explore your disk and you can see more details like this. So once you click on the details section, again, like the other area, it pretty much just shows you the details of that disk, like the total storage of it, what's used, unused, and then more information over here. It's a pretty good feature, so you can go ahead and see how much of your disk you've actually used in case you are looking to delete or download anything it's really good to go ahead and see what's used. So again, you have the partition info, which we were on before, but this is just a more detailed version, and then the NTFS info. This is again a more detailed version. So you can go ahead and click OK once you've gone ahead and actually happy with reading your disk, and you can do this with pretty much any of the sections like this. Now in some of the more larger sections, you can go ahead and actually do more than what we did at the bottom. So in this section, you can actually resize or move it, delete it, merge it, split, extend/shrink, allocate a space, change the label, or again surface test. There's also an advanced section if you want to go ahead and actually do all of this, like extend it and change it to a primary, or even change the cluster size and the check file system. So there's a lot going on here. So this is where you go ahead and actually see what correlates to you and see what you actually want to dive into. And if you want to go ahead and actually move anything around, like I just said there, you can actually resize or move your disks. So that's pretty much it for the partition manager section. Again, this is just where you manage everything, resize, see the properties and details, and that's pretty much it. So moving on to the left hand side now, we are going on to the disk clone section. Now what this is again, if you want to go ahead and actually clone one of your disks, this is how you would do it. So you choose an appropriate clone right here, and then just choose one of these, which one you want to choose most. You can clone a partition, clone the data disk, clone the OS disk, or even migrate OS. So you just go ahead and clone one of these. Let's just click it, this one, and then you click next. And then next you go ahead and click one of the disks that you want to clone, and then click next on that, and it would clone your disk. We're not going to do that because I don't want to actually clone any of my disks. So I'm going to go ahead and click back. And that's pretty much what you do on the disk clone section. Right below that, the disk converter section. This is pretty much the exact same as the disk clone, except it just goes ahead and actually converts your disk. So you can convert to MBR to GPT, convert GPT to MBR, convert dynamic to basic, or basic to dynamic. Same way you do the disk clone, you go ahead and click one of these, click next, and then click one of the ones you want to convert. Next, onto the partition recovery section. This is when you want to go ahead and actually have any recovery for your disk or partitions. You would choose a disk to start searching for lost partitions, pretty much just lost data if you actually have any lost data. So you choose one of them like this, and then click new scan. And what this does is goes ahead and searches through all of your data where it's searching for a lost partition. So as it scans through it, then it says we found partitions, and it actually found 2 lost in my file system. Go through this, see all the data that comes through, like the label and use size, and then that's pretty much it for this section. You go ahead and then just scan it and see what you've lost. Next, onto the bootable media. This is again just like the disk converter and the disk clone section. So you go ahead and choose a bootable media, whether you want to create one, enable a partition master, or even burn ISO. So let's just say we clicked create bootable media, and you go ahead and click next, and then choose one of these bootable media types, like a USB drive, ISO, or even CD. So once you click one of these, again, you go ahead and click create, and it creates a bootable media for whatever drive or media you want to create. And finally, onto the toolkit section. This isn't really much going on. This is just what can be used by Easeus, and you can use a 4K alignment, rebuild MBR, Win11 checker, write protection, or even download this package at the end. And that's pretty much it for this software. There's not too much going on in particular. It is just a disk drive management and a disk data management, and you can go ahead and use this to actually help you use your disk better. And there you go, that is it for the Easeus software review. Overall, I really like the software, and there are a few features that I personally like. Those features is how easy it actually is to run through once you start understanding the terms and how the software actually works. As a beginner, if you were to go onto this, it would be quite overwhelming, but again, a few minutes going around the software, it is really easy to understand and how to actually use it, like searching through your data, searching for your disks, and going ahead and managing it all at once. So there's a few features that I like. I like how easy, manageable it actually is. Would I recommend this to anyone? Yes, I absolutely would. Probably one of the best softwares out there for disk and data management and protecting your data within your PC or your computer, and you'd go ahead and actually manage it all really well. So I would actually recommend this to people. Would I use it myself? Yes, I would. Like I said, there's few features I personally like, so if I needed a software like this is the one I would choose. Overall, I think it's a great software. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.